Chapter 2161, Carefree Wisdom Heart. The Inkman Elder told Rinzhu, even though wisdom goo often stays within Qiankuan crystal wall, it is hidden very deeply. To find it, you will need to venture deep into the crystal wall. It will not be possible with just ink texts and the tiles that are formed below your feet. These tiles only record all sorts of information on the superficial level. With the endless barrage of other information, the limited ink texts within the tiles will change in content. They will disappear quickly and cannot last for long. The Inkman Elder said again, "O human, you need to turn all the information into knowledge. Only with knowledge can you explain information clearly. You will be able to write them down in words, allowing you to create a real path instead of just tiles made of texts." Rinzhu was troubled. How can I turn them into knowledge? The Inkman Elder laughed. There are many bookworms on Book Mountain. They record the knowledge that our Inkman seniors have left behind. O human, you can go look at them. It is not difficult to gather the knowledge yourself either. Firstly, you need memory goo to store all of this information inside your mind. Next, before the Inkman finished his words, cognition goo appeared, saying to Rinzhu, after that, I can help you to refine knowledge. The Inkman Elder nodded with a smile. Indeed, cognition can produce knowledge. Rinzhu, then I will thank you all in advance. The Inkman Elder shook his head. No need to stand on ceremony. Cognition goo, don't say that, human. We have always been good friends, and this situation benefits myself as well. If cognition did not take in new information, it would quickly get outdated. Only by receiving new information and thinking about it could cognition create useful new thoughts that were healthy and vibrant, innovative and lively. Rinzhu gathered many bookworms on Book Mountain. He obtained a lot of new information. Next, with cognition goo's help, he created many new knowledge from the vast amount of information. He used ink texts to write down his knowledge, scattering them on the ground and creating a black path made of ink texts. Rinzhu and great strength true martial walked on this path. They walked for a long time, far longer than any of their previous trips. Oh no, I don't have enough knowledge left. Rinzhu walked to the end of the path, feeling very dejected and upset. He had gathered many ink texts, but the knowledge in his mind was insufficient already. Rinzhu and great strength true marshal's first attempt failed. They had to return to Book Mountain. Great strength true marshal continued to collect ink texts while Rinzhu gathered all the bookworms. With cognition goo's help, he refined even more knowledge from them. With more and more knowledge, Rinzhu found that his mind was getting filled up. I have too much knowledge now. Rinzhu was very satisfied. He said confidently, let's go. I am sure we can reach the deepest part of Qiankuan crystal wall this time. However, they still failed in their second attempt. Why did this happen? My mind was already filled with knowledge. Rinzhu said dejected. This is all the knowledge I can hold. No. O human, look closely again. Self-goo suddenly spoke to remind him. Rinzhu inspected his mind. He found a goo hiding inside it. Rinzhu realized at once. So you are occupying my mind, preventing me from getting more knowledge. What goo are you? The goo answered, I am pride goo. Rinzhu said anxiously, can you hurry and get out? You are occupying such a huge area. I want to fill the place with knowledge instead. But no matter how anxious Rinzhu was, or how he urged, pride goo refused to leave. When Rinzhu was out of ideas, great strength true marshal spoke. Oh father, don't be anxious. Don't forget that I still have humility goo. I will give it to you. Great strength true marshal took out humility goo and gave it to Rinzhu. Pride goo was chased away by humility goo. It had to fly out of Rinzhu's mind and land on great strength true marshal instead. Strong goo was very happy. The strong have their own pride. After Rinzhu chased pride goo away from his mind, he returned to Book Mountain to continue gaining knowledge. After Rinzhu gained humility goo, he realized that the more knowledge he had, the more he found that he was lacking knowledge, and the more he wanted to fill his mind with even more knowledge. Rinzhu's mind was quickly filled. Self-goo urged him, Oh human, stop now. Your mind is already full of knowledge. But Rinzhu replied, But I think that it is insufficient. I am certain that I still do not know a lot of things. I need to continue gaining knowledge. Rinzhu continued to refine his knowledge. His mind was getting bloated. It was hurting and could not hold any more information. But humility Gu made him feel like he was still lacking in knowledge. Suddenly, there was a loud boom. Eventually, Renzu's mind could not take it anymore. It exploded from an overload of knowledge. The knowledge scattered on the ground as a little girl stood up from within. Father, father. The little girl hugged Renzu's leg happily. My name is Carefree Wisdom Heart. I am your daughter. Northern Plains, Sincerity Grassland. Chun Chung was dressed in green. His arms were crossed behind his back as he stood arrogantly upright. He stared at the foreign female immortal before him as he shouted, "Who are you? Why did you request to meet me here?" The female immortal standing before him wore a half-mask covered her nose, mouth, and cheeks, only revealing the upper half of her face, which showed her strong contours, sharp and long brows, bright eyes, and a heroic aura. She wore a dark gold armor that covered her whole body, bringing a heavy feeling of suppression on any that looked at it. She was definitely not an ordinary person. You can address me as Fairy Black Moon. This female immortal said. Fairy Black Moon? Chun Chung raised his brows. Where are you from? Now that the 5 regions were merged, Gu immortals no longer had region-specific auras. That was why Chun Chung asked the question. Fairy Black Moon smiled lightly. My identity and origin are not important. Chun Chung, you are called the Sincerity Immortal. You cultivate rule path. Back then, you had an agreement with your friend. The loser in the battle would recognize the winner as their owner and assist them. Do you remember this? Chun Cheng's pupils shrank as he frowned. I was young and arrogant then. I did not know what that truly meant. That was why the agreement was made. I was still a mere Gu master back then. Who are you exactly? You know such an obscure secret. Fairy Black Moon smiled coldly. I'm only asking you. Chun Chung, is this agreement still effective? Saying so, she took out a token. Chun Chung received it as his expression changed again. This token is real. Where did you get it? What relationship do you have with my friend? Fairy Black Moon said again. I said these are not important. Chun Chung took a deep breath. He said with a solemn expression, I understand now. You want us to have a fight. If you win, you will make me your servant. Since you took the initiative to find me, I am sure you are confident in your own strength. But I need to remind you, even though I am a lone cultivator, after roaming Northern Plains for so many years, I have gathered many trump cards. If you win this battle, I will acknowledge you as my master. But if you lose, I will be your master. Fairy Black Moon laughed heartily. Everyone calls you the Sincerity Immortal, someone who keeps his words and promises. After meeting you, it seems that this is true after all. Let's fight. Chun Chung was furious. Regardless of who you are, today, I will see what you are capable of. At the next moment, thunder rumbled as the battle of 2 immortals ensued. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture, He Chun Xiu was taking charge of 4 elements square regret blood refinement pool. Splash, splash, splash. The water of time moved erratically, creating the mesmerizing sound of waves that a rank 8 immortal Gu was quickly forming, landing in He Chun Xiu's hands. Good. All of the destroyed rank 8 immortal Gu have been refined successfully. He Chun Xiu nodded, feeling satisfied about the progress. 4 elements square regret blood refinement pool had the ability of regret pool. Any immortal Gu that it refined would have an insignia left behind. When the immortal Gu is destroyed, for elements square regret blood refinement pool would use the power of the tributary of the river of time together with the insignia to refine the immortal Gu again. The success rate would be higher than refining a new rank 8 immortal Gu normally. When Fairy Ming Hao forced Fang Yuan's subordinates to retreat earlier, Lu Weiyin expressed his pity over the destroyed immortal Gu. But he did not know that Fang Yuan's refinement path methods were unimaginably powerful. In just a few days, he refined all 3 rank 8 immortal Gu that were destroyed in that battle. But Fang Yuan was still not satisfied with his current refinement path attainment. Several days had passed since Ming Hao defeated Lu Weiyin and the rest. These days, the 3 worlds were quiet and safe. Battle had stopped. There was temporary peace. Since it was not time for the actual fight yet, Fang Yuan used this time to comprehend the profundity of the place that he had already investigated. Paradise Earth's tomb. There were countless Tao marks distributed in it. The structure was complex and profound. The scale was immense. He could not unravel it in a short time. Fang Yuan spent most of his energy on the countless big and small worlds here, trying to comprehend the refinement path profundity that they contained. Sage, savage wilderness, great world's envoy seeks your audience. At this time, a yellow earth goo immortal reported respectfully, "It's Bing Sichuan." Lu Weiyin came over as well, bringing accurate information with him. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. It is about time they came here. Earlier, the loss of Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao Hejian was actually part of Fang Yuan's scheme. Even though Heavenly Court lost to him before, Fang Yuan had never underestimated their foundation. Heavenly Court placed a huge focus on Crazed Demon Cave. They even brought Divine Emperor City over. How could Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and Xiao Hejian defeat Heavenly Court? With the current situation, even though Longevity Heaven, Heavenly Court, and Fang Yuan had one of the three great worlds each, Heavenly Court was still the dominant party. The three sides were contesting, but there was still the strongest and weakest side among them. Together with Bing Sichuan taking the initiative to cooperate with Fang Yuan during the Fate War. After Lu Weiyin and the rest returned in defeat, Fang Yuan waited patiently for Bing Sichuan's envoy to come. It was just that Bing Sichuan, one of the four Desolation Immortals, actually came here personally. It showed Longevity Heaven's sincerity right away. "Friend Fang Yuan, have you been well?" Bing Sichuan smiled, but Fang Yuan's expression was cold. "I am working together with Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable to help him revive." Bing Sichuan, it is really unwise that your Longevity Heaven wants to cooperate with us. After all, when the time is ripe and Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable revives, our strength will rise sharply. We can even suppress Heavenly Court. This, Bing Sichuan's expression froze immediately. Chapter 2162, Cooperating Once Again. The purpose of Bing Sichuan's visit was obvious. He wanted to work with Fang Yuan and resist Heavenly Court. Fang Yuan did not want to waste time. He directly stated the obstruction towards their cooperation instead. Paradise Earth's tomb was huge as a mountain. Longevity Heaven and Heavenly Court knew about it long ago. The reason why they attacked Yellow Earth Great World earlier was also because of this. Bing Sichuan was a rank 8 expert renowned in history after all. He laughed. The stiffness on his face vanished at once. "Fang Yuan, do you know where this Book Mountain originates from?" Fang Yuan had a thought. Book Mountain is not originally an arrangement of Heavenly Court. Bing Sichuan nodded. Indeed, that is so. Book Mountain was originally in the 9th layer of Crazed Demon Cave, but because of Heavenly Court's immense foundation and wisdom path, they comprehended a portion of the profundity and took out Book Mountain from the 9th layer in advance. Oh, Fang Yuan did not acknowledge nor reject the answer, but Lu Weiyin's expression changed. This was something that the Gu Immortals of Yellow Earth Great World did not know of. After all, it happened deep within Green Lotus Great World. Heavenly Court has such a method? They have already started comprehending the 9th layer and even managed to bring out Book Mountain? Did Limitless Demon Venerable's retaliative method not activate? Bing Sichuan sighed deeply. If it worked, we would not have come here so urgently to seek an alliance. Fang Yuan replied in a solemn tone. Did you see Star Constellation Immortal Venerable? Bing Sichuan shook his head. Not even once. Fang Yuan asked again. Then what is the relationship between Fairy Ming Hao and Star Constellation Immortal Venerable? Bing Sichuan replied honestly. Since the arrangement of Limitless Demon Venerable exists, until the right opportunity arises, we will not use our full strength. Thus, we did not force Star Constellation Immortal Venerable to show herself. But Heavenly Court had 3 female immortals that appeared. They all possessed pseudo-venerable battle strength. Fairy Ming Hao is one of them. These 3 female immortals are Ming Hao, Yu Xiao, and Feng Yuan respectively. They cultivate Wisdom Path with Star Path secondarily. Your side has already seen Fairy Ming Hao's strength. Fairy Yu Xiao is stronger than her. Days ago when we fought, our side had to send reinforcements to stall them and form a stalemate. As for Fairy Feng Yuan, she seems to be even stronger, but she has never taken action. She has been secluded in Crazed Demon Cave to comprehend the 9th layer profundity. Book Mountain is the fruit of her labor. Lu Weiyin could not help but sigh. Heavenly Court is the #1 force in the world after all. Their foundation is unfathomably deep. After Duke Long died, They lacked pseudo-venerable battle strength, but to think that 3 of them were hidden in Crazed Demon Cave. This shows the importance Heavenly Court is placing on Crazed Demon Cave. Bing Sichuan added, other than these 3 pseudo-venerables, there are also rank 8 elites like Qin Dingling. In addition, regarding the forces they have out in the open, there are Divine Emperor City, Demon Judgment Board, and Heaven Overseeing Tower. With Heavenly Court's foundation, it will not be strange for them to bring out more immortal goo houses. Lu Weiyin gritted his teeth. Heavenly Court even transferred a portion of the immortal graveyard into Crazed Demon Cave. This immortal graveyard was created here by using the tomb earth they collected. At the crucial moment, the immortal graveyard's slumbering experts in history would awaken. They have terrifying strength too. Precisely so. Bing Sichuan concluded. Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin, both our sides need to cooperate. Otherwise, how can we force Star Constellation Immortal Venerable to show up? How can we defeat 3 pseudo-venerables? How can we ensure the revival of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable? Bing Sichuan's intention was obvious. Heavenly Court's advantage was too great. If they were not stopped in time, even before Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable revives, Heavenly Court would have won already. Thus, there was a need for them to work together. Lu Weiyin looked at Fang Yuan, who nodded slightly, agreeing to this cooperation. Longevity Heaven seemed to have no fear regarding Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's revival. They were very confident in themselves. Their trump cards were definitely not few. But currently, with Heavenly Court in the lead, they had to do something to slow them down. Savage Wilderness Great World and Yellow Earth Great World stopped fighting between themselves. They sent out troops to attack Green Lotus Great World together. Even though there was cooperation with Longevity Heaven, the extent was quite limited. Fang Yuan suggested that they should exchange true inheritances. He wanted to use venerable true inheritances of equal value to exchange for Longevity Heaven's luck path true inheritance of Giant Sunday. Bing Sichuan rejected him with a polite tone, but his attitude was firm. Fang Yuan also suggested that they should exchange immortal materials. He wanted rank 9 luck path immortal materials, but Bing Sichuan rejected him as well. Fang Yuan's force had already inflated to this level. When he sent out his subordinates earlier, even Bing Sichuan was completely stunned from their collective strength. Bing Sichuan and the rest had a strong opinion against Spectral Soul and Red Lotus. To help Fang Yuan destroy Fake Goo, they had truly given him too much help in just these few days. Fang Yuan's force had already grown to this terrifying level. And what about his own strength? How much had he grown until now? In this situation, how could Longevity Heaven make a transaction with Fang Yuan? Wouldn't that be helping his growth? Due to the cooperation of Fang Yuan and Longevity Heaven, the situation changed greatly, but Heavenly Court seemed to have predicted this. Even though the 2 sides attacked with their full strength, they were still defending themselves firmly to 80 times. When the defensive lines were about to break, Fairy Ming Hao and Yu Xiu would take action personally, either maintaining Heavenly Court's position by forcing enemy Goo Immortals to retreat, or using the battle opportunity to invade Savage Wilderness Great World and Yellow Earth Great World instead, causing huge destruction and countless deaths. Fang Yuan also saw Fairy Yu Xiu's strength for the first time. Fairy Yu Xiu had an exceptional combat system. Her attacking methods were very special. They relied on the difference between the 2 sides' attainment level. The bigger the difference, the stronger the attacks. Ever since the first time they reached the base of Book Mountain, Fang Yuan's subordinates made no such advancement again. Like this, the 3 sides fought with each other. The situation was in a deadlock. Days went by one. A large number of Goo cultivators died. Their sacrifice made the 3 worlds grow larger with an increasing number of stable Dao marks. The more Goo cultivators died in this place, the more the boundaries of the 3 great worlds faded, and the larger the area which the worlds were connected to became. On this day, at the peak of Book Mountain, Fairy Yu Xiu gathered the Heavenly Court Immortals. She spoke. Right now, Fang Yuan and Longevity Heaven have cooperated. This is giving us huge pressure. Our immortal graveyard has a backup hidden force, but Fang Yuan's Wu Shui clone has not shown up yet. Longevity Heaven is also hiding their strength. Since the situation is now in a deadlock with all 3 sides wary of each other, the small worlds around the 3 great worlds will be the key to our victory. These small worlds might be weak, but they still have Gu immortals. If we can get them to join us, we will gain an advantage in the fight between the three forces. During this time, Fang Yuan and Longevity Heaven cooperated, managing to suppress Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court was losing more and more members. Zhou Xiong Xian's side. These small worlds are easy to defend but hard to attack. Even though we tried many times and are able to win by force, very few Gu immortals decided to join us sincerely. Prince Feng Xian added, these Gu immortal inhabitants lack sufficient intelligence. They are very stubborn as well. Most of them bear animosity towards the three great worlds. They think that fusing their world into the great worlds would cause the destruction of their homeland. They hold a firm attitude. Thus, Fairy Yushio smiled. I will hold a lesson at the peak of Book Mountain to teach the countless masses. Any Gu cultivator, mortal or immortal, can join this session. How will you do that? Wan Zihong asked. Fairy Yushio explained the details. Heavenly Court's immortals had changes of expressions. Lady Yushio has such an incredible method. We are truly in admiration. In that case, we will not have to worry about these Gu cultivators not joining us sincerely. These lowly Gu cultivators actually have such a great fortune to be able to get a Dao lesson from Lady Yushio. This is too good for them. Haha. They are all just cannon fodder. They will be sacrificed in the end. There is no harm in doing this. Heavenly Court's Gu immortals discussed among themselves. The atmosphere slowly became relaxed. Divine Emperor City. Chi howling painting world. A group of beggars stood around Fang Dichong, facing a huge elephant. The huge elephant was pure white in color. Its four legs stomped on the ground. It was unmoving like a sturdy mountain. The beggars were in a stalemate for a long time. Their morale was falling. They started to feel like they could not resist this huge elephant. Fang Dichong was frowning deeply. This chi monster is made from righteous chi. The longer we fight it, the more disadvantageous it is for us. Chi monsters had all sorts of shapes and sizes. They were not fixed. They could be made from all kinds of chi, having varying temperament and strength. For example, chi monsters made of domination chi would be domineering. Chi monsters made from death chi would love to be in places filled with many deaths. Chi monsters made of life chi would have strong recovery abilities, while chi monsters made from luck chi would be hard to kill. Once they were killed, the benefits to the Gu cultivator would not be small. Even though Fang Dichong was Fang Yuan's clone and shared his attainment level, he had lost his body and soul. With just his will left, he resided within the human path beggar Gu. Thus, he could not resist this white elephant made of righteous chi. But thankfully, the righteous chi white elephant was not rampaging. It did not make a move in the end, only staring at the beggars. I have arrived. Shunshang finally fought his way to them. After finishing off his earlier opponent quickly, he came to help out Fang Dichong. He fought against a group of blood chi monsters earlier. He was bathed in blood. Fang Dichong immediately sighed in relief as he made the beggars fall back and let Shunshang in. Shunshang fought against the white elephant using human path methods. This rank 8 Gu immortal was indeed the human path quasi-supreme grandmaster chosen by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. He quickly gained the upper hand, but right when he was about to finish off the elephant, the ground started to shake. Rumble. About 10,000 bull-shaped chi monsters stampeded together while creating huge dust clouds behind them. Shunshang and Fang Dichang's expressions changed. The righteous chi elephant screeched in fear as it escaped in panic. Shunshang did not bother with it. He grabbed Fang Dichong and quickly ran in another direction. The stampede of countless bulls was like a tsunami that swept heaven and earth. It could not be stopped. Shunshang and Fang Dichong managed to escape with their lives. They watched as the bulls charged away. These chi monsters are made of charging bull chi, but isn't the size of the group too big? Who can block it? Shunshang sighed. Fang Dichong replied, the bulls are running towards the closest camp. Who knows how many will die, but that camp is going to end up in ruins. Shunshang nodded. Indeed, once the camp is destroyed, we can only retreat to another camp further back. Our exploration will get tougher. Chapter 2163, Endless Learning. The two of them had deduced something earlier. Thus they worked together and explored deeper in a chi-howling painting world, in order to find and communicate with Heavenly Court's enemy at the depths of the painting. The enemy of an enemy was a friend. But even after Xinshang and Fang Dichang did their best, they could not reach the deepest part of the painting. Qi Howling painting world was too huge. Fang Dichang's strength was at a limit. Even though Xinshang had rank 8 cultivation level, it was severely restricted in here. The difference between mortal and immortal was not evident. The only good thing was that Xinshang's illness was greatly alleviated here. Ever since he entered the painting world, he had not relapsed again. According to Xinshang's estimations, the dense human path environment here was helping him. Sigh, the 10 children of human path have left. Without their help, how can we get through this painting and meet the one suppressed at the deepest part of the painting? Fang Dichang sighed. Xinshang was about to speak when his expression changed suddenly. He shouted, "This is..." Next, Fang Dichang also sensed the aura of a rank 8 immortal goo rapidly spreading towards him. The two no longer cared about Qi Howling painting world. They quickly returned to the central area of the original painting world. The two of them saw a rank 8 immortal goo at the same time. It was floated in the air, shining with radiance. Divine Emperor City is truly deep. It actually contains this legendary immortal goo. If I am not wrong, this should be the learning goo recorded in The Legends of Renzu. The two conversed, seeing the shock on each other's expressions. Learning goo is a human path immortal goo. This is likely the highest ranked human path immortal goo in the current world. Fang Dichang sighed. I get it now. Xinshang's eyes suddenly shined with bright light. Why did beast tamers and chi cultivators appear earlier? It was the result of this learning goo's effect. Of course, this should not be the only goo used. It is likely a killer move. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable had such grand ambitions. His arrangements were truly deep. Fang Dichang frowned. But why did this learning goo activate on its own now? Did something happen in the outside world? Xinshang was troubled. He did not know about the situation outside, but he quickly reacted. This is a prime opportunity. Learning goo must be one of the cores of Divine Emperor City, regardless of what is going on outside that caused this core to be used alone. At this point, Divine Emperor City's intact structure has a crack in it. We can find this weakness and make use of it. Good idea. Fang Dichang's pupils expanded as he looked at Xinshang excitedly. Let us work together and explore the secret of Divine Emperor City. At the same time, Crazed Demon Cave, 8th layer, Green Lotus Dao Field, above Book Mountain. Fairy Yuxiu sat at the peak of Book Mountain. Within her immortal aperture, Divine Emperor City's learning goo spread out its radiance, cooperating with Fairy Yuxiu's other immortal goo to form a human path killer move. Endless learning. At the middle and bottom of Book Mountain, there were countless goo cultivators. The killer move's radiance was light blue in color. It spread down and covered all of these goo cultivators. Their bodies shook intensely. This is... The immortals' expressions changed. They were filled with deep shock. An indescribable profundity of the great Tao flowed into the depths of their hearts like a gentle river. The attainment levels of these immortals started to rise. There is actually such an incredible killer move in this world. If I am not experiencing this personally, I will not be able to imagine it. This is the teaching of the sage. The sage is merciful and benevolent. Many goo immortals were so touched they shed tears on the spot. Others knelt down on the ground, kowtowing to Fairy Yuxiu at the peak of the mountain. These were all non-standard goo immortals, but they were receiving the most traditional goo cultivation method now. They were all clear about how hard it was to raise attainment levels. This was truly an unprecedented fortuitous encounter for them. In this world, there are indeed other methods to raise attainment level other than dream realms. Human path. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable had already made his arrangements to this degree. It is definitely not wrong for Heavenly Court to develop human path. Qin Dingling was very excited internally. Heavenly Court's members, with her at the lead, sat down together and closed their eyes to comprehend calmly. Fairy Yuxiu opened her eyes slightly, looking down below her with a glance. Sweat had gathered on her forehead. All the thoughts in her mind were used to sustain this move. Endless learning was a human path method of strategical value. Its benefit for any superforce was huge beyond imagination. Its greatest advantage was that it did not expend the user's true meaning. It created true meaning in the mind of the targets instead. Rule path and wisdom path Gu immortals were more adept at extracting their own true meaning compared to other paths. When other Gu cultivators take the true meaning, their attainment levels of the corresponding path would rise sharply, but the Gu cultivator who extracted their true meaning would experience a fall in attainment level. The losses could not be regained. This was why true meaning was so rare in the world. Endless learning was a killer move that made use of Fairy Yushio's attainment level, the secluded domain of Heaven and Earth Book Mountain, as well as learning Gu. This move could create new true meaning in the mind of the targets. Once the true meaning was created, it would be instantly absorbed by the Gu cultivator and cause their relevant attainment level to rise. This was the greatest advantage of the killer move Endless Learning. It did not consume anyone's attainment level, but at the same time, this advantage was also its weakness, because the true meaning created by the killer move had limitations. The limitations were the Gu cultivator themselves. The Gu cultivator's aptitude, talent, comprehension, and personal experiences were conditions that restricted their production of true meaning. Attainment level profundity of the same level would vary across the different people who were comprehending them. If one reached their limit and could not comprehend the profundity, they would start to develop illusions as expected. Not long after, Gu cultivators on Book Mountain started to see illusions. Some of them saw surging golden lotuses, some saw azure rain, some saw surging bloody water, some saw bone forests, or rainbow-colored phoenixes that growled loudly. I can't persevere anymore. A moment later, someone spat out blood and fainted. More and more people followed, but some Gu cultivators were still enduring. With this, the talent, personal experiences, and comprehension of the Gu cultivators were also clearly distinguished. But by the time, those among Qin Dingling's groups started to waver as sweat appeared on their foreheads. About 90% of Green Lotus Dao Field's native Gu immortals had already fallen. Even if these natives become Gu immortals, they are still inferior to humans, who have the highest natural talent and intelligence. Fairy Yushio nodded to herself. After some observation, she had already gained a clear understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of the Gu immortals from Green Lotus Dao Field. When Qin Dingling and the rest started to waver, the other Gu cultivators on the mountain had already fainted. Bai Tsang Shui fainted, Zhou Xiong Xin also fainted, followed by Jun Xinguang. Eventually, only 3 Heavenly Court members were left. They were Qin Dingling, Che Wei, and Gu Yufang Zheng. Brother? Gu Yufang Zheng's eyes were filled with blood. He grunted before fainting. Thereafter, Qin Dingling smiled bitterly as she lost consciousness as well. Che Wei lasted until the end. Fairy Yushio nodded to herself. As expected of the creator of Weapon Path. I actually misjudged. Fairy Yushio's expression suddenly changed as she shifted her gaze from Che Wei to a meteor at the bottom of the mountain. This meteor was large as an elephant. It was also a Gu immortal. Earlier, it had fallen into a state of semi-unconsciousness. Even Fairy Yushio did not expect that a certain strength would gather within the rock at this point. The mystical strength reached its limit. There was a qualitative change occurring. Rumble, with a thunderous sound, the meteor shattered as golden light shined in all directions. From the piercing and blinding light, a rock monkey flew out. The rock monkey landed on the ground and scratched its ears, shouting, "Brilliant, truly brilliant." Plopped at the other end. Che Wei could no longer endure it. He fainted on the spot. Fairy Yushio's expression became even more peculiar. This rock monkey is born from heaven and earth. It is extraordinary. It even has incredible talent surpassing Che Wei. With such potential, it will definitely reach great heights in the future. Amazing, amazing. What a pity, what a pity. Fairy Yushio sighed continuously. She was referring to Limitless Demon Venerable when she said, amazing. Limitless Demon Venerable created Crazed Demon Cave. The derivation of New Heaven Path Dao marks went on for over 1,000,000 years. The results were huge. This rock monkey was the proof of it. This rock monkey's potential and comprehension ability even surpassed Heavenly Court's members. It defeated Che Wei. If this rock monkey was nurtured well and grew successfully, it might create its own path in the future. But this rock monkey was destined to have a pitiful ending. It could not live for long. It was meant to be Limitless Demon Venerable Sacrifice. Even Heavenly Court could not let it off. because it was not a pure human. This was also why Fairy Yushio said, "What a pity." The rock monkey lasted for a few more minutes before falling on the ground, unconscious. Fairy Yushio stopped using the killer move. She started to rest. Even though she did not consume her attainment level, the price of using this move was quite high. Be they thoughts, immortal essence, or her own lifespan, they were expended. Not long after, the Gu immortals started to wake up. They started to cheer, unable to control themselves. Their attainment levels had all risen. The problems that they faced normally with killer moves or incomplete immortal Gu recipes were all resolvable now. Many Gu immortals even had new ideas regarding the modification of their current killer moves. Thank you, Sage, for imparting the Tao to us. Sage has unsurpassed virtue for imparting the Tao to us. The Gu immortals knelt on the ground of their own will. Fairy Yushio smiled, her voice spreading throughout Book Mountain, before spreading to the entire Green Lotus world. 3 days later, I will hold another session to impart the Tao on Book Mountain again. The immortals were stunned. At the next moment, a thunderous cheer resounded. 3 days later, not only on Book Mountain itself, even a large number of Gu masters gathered near the base of Book Mountain. Gu masters could only surround Book Mountain, but not ascend it. On the mountain base and the sides, many new Gu immortals showed up. These Gu immortals came from various small worlds. Hearing that a sage was imparting the Tao on Book Mountain, they came of their own accord to benefit from it. Fairy Yushio used endless learning again. As illusions started to show up. Everyone saw different sights. I can see many flowers. So many pig heads are flying in the sky. Fairy, don't run. You can't escape from me. That rascal is dead meat. I'm telling you, even a Gu immortal cannot save him. The man of my dreams is an unparalleled hero who will come and marry me while riding on a rainbow cloud, even though I am also a man. Chapter 2164. Ant poison appears again. All sorts of illusions appeared. Soon, the Gu masters outside of the mountain quickly fell unconscious one by one. Next, the ones on the mountain, those Gu immortals who had attended the previous session, also fainted in succession. During the first session, they had already reached their limits. After just 3 days, the growth of their foundation was very limited. Even Heavenly Court's members were no exception. After them were the various mutant Gu immortals of the small worlds. They had deep foundations, and this was their first time attending the Tao lesson. Fairy Yushio expressed her surprise again. Among these mutant Gu immortals, she found another genius this time. It was a lump of deep green-colored tornado. It persevered until the end. The aptitude and comprehension ability it displayed was equally matched with the rock monkey. When this tornado Gu immortal fell unconscious, Fairy Yushio also stopped using her killer move. By the time they awakened, she announced again. 3 days later, the next session will be held. For the third Tao lesson, even more Gu immortals came. Not only the mutants of the various small worlds, even Savage Wilderness Great Worlds and Yellow Earth Great Worlds Gu immortals came. Eventually, the one who lasted until the end was a lizard Gu immortal. This immortal came from Savage Wilderness Great World. Its aptitude was on par with the rock monkey and tornado. They were extraordinarily talented. Fairy Yushio conducted 3 Tao lessons in total. The influence was not just kept in the 3 great worlds, it even spread to the remaining small worlds. Not only the small worlds at the boundaries of the 3 great worlds, but even many other small worlds that were currently being drawn to the central area. Fairy Yushio achieved her goal. The effect was evident. Their impression on the various Gu immortals of Green Lotus Grand World improved greatly. Many Gu immortals chose to join them. Yushio chose 3 leaders from among them. They were the rock monkey Butian Kong, the tornado immortal Nia Kuang Feng, and finally, the lizard Gu immortal from Savage Wilderness Great World, Duan Hu. But a large number of Gu immortals still chose to watch on the fence. These Gu immortals mostly came from small worlds. Their worlds were still moving now. They had not landed near the 3 great worlds yet. Since this change occurred in the void, the unification of the worlds cannot be avoided. We need to find a good allegiance. Indeed, we are all rulers of our small world. We can influence where we end up to a certain extent. Green Lotus Great World Sage gave a Tao lesson. I wonder if the other two world sages will do the same? Unavoidably, these Gu immortals started to hold expectations that a capable person will often choose to find a capable leader. Even though they were native Gu immortals that were not human, they had ample intelligence and were quite astute. From Fairy Yuxio's Tao lessons, they sensed that she was trying to recruit them. The three great worlds were in heated conflict. The amount of losses was huge and severe. It was the stage for them to shine on. They even started to spread the word. If the other two great worlds do not give such a benefit, we will join Green Lotus Great World. The three great worlds have existed for so long. Green Lotus Great World Sage imparted wisdom on everyone. They are truly magnanimous and benevolent. I am sure that the other two world sages are the same. We will join whichever world gives the greatest benefits. These Gu immortals wanted to gain the most benefits for themselves, as for which world they would end up joining. Haha, they can decide that after getting the benefits. The situation changed abruptly. Lu Weiyin quickly went to Fang Yuan for a discussion at Lu Weiyin's side. Currently, Heavenly Court has the initiative again. After cooperating with Longevity Heaven, we managed to destabilize Heavenly Court's advantage over us. But with Fairy Yuxio's Tao lessons, all our efforts ended up in vain. But thankfully, the situation is salvageable. How should we go on to recruit those Gu immortals who are still on the fence? Fang Yuan was silent. These mutant Gu immortals who were still roaming around were top-tier cannon fodder. Heavenly Court's recruitment of them was a great move. Fairy Yuxio's method also expanded Fang Yuan's horizons. Learning Gu, endless learning. Other than the dream realm, this was the first time Fang Yuan saw a killer move capable of directly raising attainment levels in the 500 years of his previous life. He had no recollection of such a killer move. From what he gathered and from Lu Weiyin's information, there was no warning or hint that such a killer move existed. This meant that the killer move was likely a new creation of Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court had deep foundation and countless elites who progressed and developed with time. Lu Weiyin looked at Fang Yuan as he said, "This killer move is extraordinary. It can raise the power of an entire force. Attainment level is very hard to raise. Even I am slightly moved by Heavenly Court's offer. There is also something more worrying. Within the legends of Rinzhu, there are records that Rinzhu and the other two went into primordial domain using true meaning. Heavenly Court possesses the killer move endless learning. This means that they have a method of creating true meaning that is unique in this world. This method might allow them to enter primordial domain earlier than others. Or even like Book Mountain, they might be able to obtain primordial domain from the 9th layer." Fang Yuan nodded slightly. Lu Weiyin was very astute. All of his words made sense. Primordial domain was the key factor in the conflict of the three parties. Even if a venerable revives successfully, to become a true Tao Lord again, they need to rely on primordial domain. One could say that whoever obtains primordial domain first would gain the greatest advantage. They would become the eventual winner of this fight. Fang Yuan pondered. Endless learning is truly incredible and useful, but we also have a strategic level killer move ourselves. I have already used it. Lu Weiyin's expression turned to joy as he guessed. That lingering poisonous ant plague killer move? Fang Yuan nodded while adding, "I used this move in Eastern Sea before. Let's see how Heavenly Court deals with it. Other than that, we need to keep an eye on Longevity Heaven. I am quite curious about their following actions." Lu Weiyin thought about it and added, "Lord, since you have already used lingering poisonous ant plague, we should take the initiative to attack and exert pressure when Heavenly Court is busy dealing with it. They will not have the time or energy to resist this move." Fang Yuan had already shut his eyes. "You can go handle this matter. I want to deduce the Paradise Earth true inheritance here." Lu Weiyin immediately took his leave. His best idea was to communicate with Longevity Heaven and attack in unison. After getting Lu Weiyin's invitation, Longevity Heaven did not hesitate. They cooperated smoothly. The truth was, their pressure was higher. Many Gu immortals defected from Savage Wilderness Great World to Green Lotus Great World, even more than Yellow Earth Great World. The most famous among them was Duan Hu. This rank 8 expert was very famous in Savage Wilderness Great World, with him taking the lead to join Heavenly Court. The influence on Longevity Heaven was dire. Days later, Longevity Heaven and Fang Yuan sent out their troops again to attack Green Lotus Great World, Eye in the Sky. Gu immortals fought intensely. Kill. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch held two large hammers on both hands as he attacked aggressively. He was covered in thick golden fur. He had many immortal Gu and killer moves, allowing his defense to be tight. He had no worries about charging forward. The formation of Heavenly Court's mutant Gu immortals were disrupted many times because of him. Don't be too arrogant. A childlike woodpath Gu immortal with grass growing on his head gritted his teeth as he blocked Golden Fur Immortal Monarch. Golden Fur Immortal Monarch's advancement was halted. He fought against this immortal. After dozens of rounds, there was no clear victor. Humph. I am Grasshead Child. I was born with an immortal Gu. I am blessed with great fortune. You have immortal Gu, but my immortal Gu are also not fewer than yours. This woodpath Gu immortal shouted with a confident disposition. Suddenly, his expression became distorted as his body started twisting around. So itchy. Suddenly, Grasshead Child could not endure the intense feeling. Wave of ants crawled out of his body, piercing his grass skin. What is going on? What are these things? Grasshead Child was shocked. He quickly retreated. Ha! Where are you going? Golden Fur Immortal Monarch saw the chance and chased relentlessly. Grasshead Child was hit by the killer move Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague. He was greatly distracted and lost his momentum. After several rounds, he was smashed into pulp by Golden Fur Immortal Monarch's hammer, dying on the spot. Similar scenes were occurring to the other mutant Gu immortals. With the activation of Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague, the situation was immediately changed. Originally, Heavenly Court had many mutant Gu immortals. They were able to enter a deadlock with Fang Yuan's subordinates who were better equipped. But now that their immortal apertures were getting attacked, they lost all their morale. They had no will to fight. Run. Why are there ants on my body as well? Don't kill me. I surrender. The formation collapsed entirely. Fang Yuan's subordinates chased after them and obtained great results. This is the outcome for siding with Green Lotus Great World. All the Gu immortals who sided with them faced the judgment of Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague. Kill all the captives. Our master has given orders. We will not accept them. Ice Crystal Immortal Monarch and the rest cheered loudly, resounding in the entire battlefield. They worked with another group from Longevity Heaven, making great advances and forcing Heavenly Court's mutant Gu immortals to run in fear, unable to retaliate. The defeated mutant Gu immortals found that they could not resolve Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague killer move. They had to rush to Book Mountain and kneel towards the peak. Requesting for the sages helped execute the peak of Book Mountain. Qin Ding. Ling frowned. Fang Yuan used that move after all. If we cannot resolve it, our great advantage is going to be lost entirely. Many of the mutant Gu immortals were still watching in anticipation that if Green Lotus Great World was too weak, even if the benefits were huge, they would not join them. After all, great benefits were pointless unless one had sufficient lifespan to enjoy them. At this moment, Fairy Yuxiu defended Book Mountain, while Fairy Ming Hao went to the front lines, preventing Longevity Heaven's troops from causing any more trouble. Fairy Yuxiu was also quite troubled. You have already given us the information of this Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague killer move. This is quite an impressive move. It contains Poison Path, Enslavement Path, Refinement Path, Wood Path, Food Path, and even Heaven Path Profundity. It contains Heaven Path Profundity? Qin Dingling was deeply shocked. No wonder Eastern Sea's Righteous Qi Alliance can only alleviate the effects of this move, but not remove it completely. Chapter 2165. Operation of Heaven and Earth. Chapter 2165. Operation of Heaven and Earth Peak of Book Mount. Regarding Fang Yuan's Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague, Fairy Yuxiu explained. Thankfully, this move had already been used in Eastern Sea before. You also made Zue Xianwing infiltrate Righteous Qi Alliance and obtain first-hand information about it. Thus, I am prepared against it. But the current Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague has been modified by Fang Yuan. My original method isn't going to be suitable. I need to modify it as well. Qin Dingling heard this as her expression eased up slightly. That will be good. Fairy Yuxiu smiled. I only need 3 days to succeed. During this period, Heavenly Court can spread the news regarding Lingering Poisonous Ant Plague to everyone. Qin Ding Ling acknowledged and left. Not long after, the mutant goo immortals learned of the situation. They became very angry. Yellow Earth Great World Sage is truly too vicious. I've heard that Yellow Earth Great World's goo immortals are united and harmonious. To think that their sage is such a vicious person, this is really a huge disappointment to everyone. In comparison, Green Lotus Great World Sage is really magnanimous. They have the disposition of a sage. Even Savage Wilderness Great World Sage pales in comparison. The observing goo immortals were very disappointed. They waited for so long, but neither Longevity Heaven nor Fang Yuan gave the response that they wanted. They gained nothing from waiting. Yellow Earth Great World and Savage Wilderness Great World directly sent their troops and started the war. These mutant goo immortals were very disappointed, but they also started to get angrier. The sages of these two great worlds are acting like this. Are they not afraid that we will join Green Lotus Great World? Humph. The sages of these two worlds are too high and mighty. Forget it. I will join Green Lotus Great World instead. All of the observing mutant goo immortals chose to join Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court's wisdom path method is quite formidable. The emotions of these mutant goo immortals were influenced. According to what I know, many goo immortals made the decision to join Heavenly Court in a spurt of anger. Lu Weiyin sighed as he explained to Fang Yuan. Heavenly Court first spread information of Fang Yuan's vicious method before helping the mutant goo immortals resolve their lingering poisonous ant plague without asking for compensation. Finally, they even used a method to influence the emotions of these mutant goo immortals. After this series of actions, not only did they alleviate lingering poisonous ant plague's terrifying effect, they even retaliated and caused Fang Yuan and Longevity Heaven's position to be worse than before. Currently, Heavenly Court has recruited many mutant goo immortals. Their advantage in numbers is increasingly evident. Should we recall our troops at the front lines? Lu Weiyin asked. Fang Yuan smiled as he waved his hand. Heavenly Court is formidable. According to my deduction, this mysterious wisdom path killer move contains heaven path profundity too. It is similar to heaven's will and has the ability to influence the thoughts and emotions of living beings. Lingering poisonous ant plague has been troubling the Righteous Chi Alliance, but Heavenly Court managed to resolve this move so easily. In fact, I even modified this move once again. However, Longevity Heaven is taking action now. Let's watch and see before making a decision. Gu Tu Luan was one of the mutant goo immortals who joined Heavenly Court. After making the agreement with Heavenly Court, she traveled through the void and returned to her small world. Using several days, she set up an immortal formation. This immortal formation was Heavenly Court's reinforcement. After activating it, it could influence the travel route of the small world, allowing it to land on the boundary of Green Lotus Great World. Green Lotus Great World Sage is truly unfathomable. This immortal formation is amazing and has huge power, but the expended immortal essence is so little. Gu Tu Luan praised internally as she activated the immortal formation. The immortal formation burst out with profound light, spreading from the inside to the outside of the small world. The small world had always been moving towards the center of the void, but under the effect of the immortal formation, it started to change its trajectory slightly. After several breaths of time, Gu Tu Luan's expression turned to shock. What is going on? I activated the immortal formation, but the small world is uncontrollable. It is forcefully moving towards another direction. Is the immortal formation ineffective? Gu Tu Luan quickly checked and was shocked to find out. It was not that the immortal formation was useless, but a profound force had been influencing her small world from long ago. Compared to this vast force, the immortal formation had no strength to counter it. Gu Tu Luan could only watch as her homeland flew and landed on the boundary of Savage Wilderness Great World. This was not a unique situation. Many small worlds were influenced and landed on Savage Wilderness Great World, while others were still on their way. Gu Tu Luan and the other mutant goo immortals were stunned. They joined Green Lotus Great World, but their own small worlds ended up in Savage Wilderness Great World. They would definitely be absorbed by Savage Wilderness Great World and fuse into it. This is the method of Savage Wilderness Great World Sage. Unbelievable. That sage already took action long ago. he is actually able to attract all the small worlds. Only those small worlds at the periphery were spared. What do? Many Gu immortals were starting to feel regret. Had they known this, they would not have joined Green Lotus Great World so quickly. Peak of Book Mountain. This is Giant Sun's heaven and earth luck method. Qin Dingling sighed. Fate is fixed while luck is a variable. Longevity Heaven disregarded the cost and brought luck suppression Heavenly Palace here. They have already started to influence the heaven and earth luck of the 8th layer of Crazed Demon Cave. Thus, these small worlds were all drawn to them. It is a venerable method after all. Fairy Yushio sighed. Even though they could understand Longevity Heaven's method, they had no way of resolving it. Not only because Longevity Heaven was superior to Heavenly Court in terms of luck path methods, but because this method was used by Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace. To resolve it, they had to destroy the palace, and Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace had been hiding deep within Savage Wilderness Great World. Now that pseudo-venerables could not use their full strength, who could reach it and destroy it? Heavenly Court had no answer. They could only sit and wait. This way, Heavenly Court gathered most of the mutant Gu immortals. They had advantage in numbers. Longevity Heaven obtained most of the small worlds. Savage Wilderness Great World was growing and expanding rapidly. Only Fang Yuan's side was the weakest. During this period, not only did they not recruit many mutant Gu immortals, they also failed to get many small worlds. Heavenly Court started to instruct the mutant Gu immortals to retaliate. The front lines that went deep into Green Lotus Great World started to be pushed away outwards again. The GU masters gathered into armies, fighting and killing all over the battlefield. Immortals fought in the air. It was an intense battle. Rock Monkey Butian Kong roamed unhindered. With a sudden roar, it vanished on the spot. This move again. Bingjua's eyelids were twitching. He quickly looked around him. Where will he show up? But Butian Kong did not attack Bingjua. It teleported behind Shizong instead. Take my fist. Butian Kong shouted. Shizong quickly defended himself, but his defensive killer move was quickly broken through. Butian Kong's fist pierced Shizong's chest, protruding out of his back. Butian Kong snickered. Its body shook as a killer move was activated. Shizong exploded and shattered into pieces that flew everywhere. Shizong and Bingjua were rank 8 Gu immortals, while Butian Kong also had rank 8 cultivation level. To think that he managed to kill Shizong while going up against 2 opponents. No matter what formation this is, I will send it flying. At the other end, Niequang Feng, who was inside the rotting smell vicious cloud formation, shouted. The 6 Eggman Gu immortals from Rotten Egg Grotto Heaven formed into the ancient battle formation Rotting Smell Vicious Cloud as they trapped Niequang Feng for some time. At this point, they were unable to hold on anymore as the latter broke out from within. The 6 Eggman Gu immortals spat out blood in response. They were either dead or injured, and on another battlefield, Duan, who fought against Lutong Lan. Lan was the desolate extremity of the 8 extremities, but she actually fell into a disadvantage. Duan, whose attacks were powerful and wild, its body was tough like a mountain. When colliding, it felt like one was colliding with the world itself. Lutong Lan's Blue Phoenix Totem Killer move was almost destroyed in the fight. These 3 immortals were born with immense, innate luck. They are the luck children of Crazed Demon Cave's 8th layer. Originally, Yellow Earth Great World should have produced such an expert too. It is a pity. Fang Yuan understood the reason behind these 3 immortals' existence. He casted his gaze at Paradise Earth's tomb. Using Luck Inspection Killer move, he saw that this Paradise Earth's tomb had immense luck that resembled a yellow soil mountain. It was unmoving and incredibly dense. These days, with their losses at the front lines, many of Fang Yuan's subordinates also died, but Fang Yuan remained calm as ice. These fatalities were just numbers to him. The longer this dragged on, the more advantageous it was for him. Fang Yuan had already comprehended a lot of the profundities regarding Paradise Earth's tomb. In the past, he did not have the ability to create his own tomb Earth, but now, he could create a huge graveyard in the sovereign immortal aperture to act as a node of the Earth Fang. Most of Fang Yuan's time and energy were spent comprehending the refinement path profundity here. Ordinary Gu immortals refined immortal Gu, while limitless demon venerable refined the worlds of heaven and earth. This gap in refinement path was now quickly filled up by Fang Yuan. He was even gaining huge results from at the same time. Fang Yuan gained a deeper and clearer understanding of limitless demon venerables arrangements. It is time. Fang Yuan muttered lightly. He gazed afar with his deep, abyss-like eyes. Crack. A shocking flash of lightning landed on the battlefield. The immortals on the battlefield were shocked. In an instant, lightning bolts crashed down like a forest. The immortals had to stop and retreat immediately. Thereafter, tribulations of various intensity rained down like a torrent, occurring to all three great worlds and their boundaries. At the peak of Book Mountain, Qin Dingling was shocked. What is going on? After making some deductions, Fairy Yuxiu explained confidently. This is limitless demon venerables method. So it turns out that when the fusion of worlds reach a certain stage, tribulations will befall. At the same time, Fang Yuan's gaze focused on these tribulations that were extremely far away. Waves of comprehension emerged in the depth of his mind. All tribulations are superb methods in refining heaven and earth. Gu immortals manage their immortal aperture. Under normal circumstances, their main source of Tao marks come from tribulations. When Gu immortals successfully pass a tribulation, they would gain a large number of Tao marks. These Tao marks will modify the immortal aperture and cause the environment to change. This is the refinement of heaven and earth. By expanding this logic, all tribulations were refinement path methods. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. At this point, the refinement path profundity regarding the refinement of the world and heaven and earth had already been comprehended by him to a large extent. Earlier, my luck gave me an indication. Now is the time to use that move. Fang Yuan started to activate Heaven's Envy Immortal Gu.